Thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters shut down the Brooklyn Bridge, marching to anti-Israel rhetoric. Flooding city streets in uproar, protesters even defacing New York City businesses, plastering storefronts with "Zionism is terrorism" signs. New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis joins us now with reaction. Congresswoman, thanks for being here. There are staggering images when you see that many people with that type of a message in New York City.
It is, and it's happening in places all over the world, predominantly Arab nations. But when it happens here in New York City, it really catches our attention because this is happening following the atrocities of Hamas. So these individuals are justifying what Hamas has done. And I think it's important to differentiate between Hamas and the Palestinian civilians who, like Israelis, who, like Americans, have been killed at the hands of Hamas. You just did an entire segment about how they use the Palestinian civilians as shields. They set up their command centers, their equipment, their storage facilities. They do it in hospitals. They do it in schools on purpose. So the Palestinian people are actually suffering as a result of Hamas taking control of the various areas. And I think we need to just stand united to condemn this type of terrorism that we know is Iranian-backed. 70% of Hamas is funded by Iran. And that is what we did the other day in Congress. We sent a very strong message, and it was a shame that roughly 10 members of Congress, including the entire socialist squad, did not vote with us to condemn the atrocities of Hamas killing innocent civilians, and instead stand vocally and unequivocally with Israel at this moment in time.
Congresswoman, I want to move to this as well. I had dinner last night with a friend. I've moved out of New York City now. It's been a couple of years. And he described for me a scene that you would never have seen 5 years ago in New York City. He said, ride in the subway now, you will see children, 6 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old, begging on the train.
Really?
Going up onto people asking for money. Clearly, these kids are the children of illegal immigrants. The city has changed drastically in just a few short years. And now this self-branding as a sanctuary city has proven to be an absolute farce, as the mayor is offering one-way tickets to leave New York.
Yeah, well, you know what? The mayor created this crisis in New York City when he sent the message to the world that if you came to New York City, you would receive free housing, obviously at the expense of taxpayers who are now suffering greatly, seeing across-the-board cuts and their tax dollars that they work so hard for going to citizens of other countries instead of their own families. Look, we put a lot of pressure on this mayor. I think what you're seeing right now is a result of that. We've sued to stop a lot of these migrant shelters. We've actually gotten a couple shut down in my district. I've actually passed legislation the other day to prevent federal lands like Floyd Bennett Field from being used as migrant encampments. So as we continue to do this, we put pressure on the mayor. He's recognizing that if he can't use, these parklands, and he can't use schools because we've sued and we were able to stop that, and also got the R-N.Y, by the way, to shut down these facilities because they're not safe to be shelters. Or zoned for it, for that matter. He's recognizing that he's running out of options, and he's going to see opposition from the Republicans in New York City at every single turn. We're going to use every legislative and legal action to stop him. So I'm glad that at least he's recognizing that we can't continue this, nor was right to shelter ever intended for homeless citizens of other countries, for these illegal immigrants that are coming in mass over our southern border. It was meant for homeless New Yorkers. In fact, in the lawsuit, the judge affirmed that in his decision. So that gave the mayor an out now to stop housing them. Let's see what he does.
Congresswoman, really quick, we're running out of time. I want to ask you about Representative Bowman. We know that he now was caught on video. It's that he lied, that it was clearly he was trying to interfere with that official proceeding. We know there are J6ers who are languishing in prisons, being charged with that. What is going to happen? Are you, as Republicans now under new leadership, going to make sure that he receives maximum punishment for this, if nothing else, in the interest of equal justice?
Well, I've already introduced a resolution to expel Mr. Bowman. I think either expulsion or censorship will happen. depending on the votes, because we would need Democratic votes in order to expel him, and they're probably not there. But what I will say is it is disappointing to see that he's only being slapped with a misdemeanor, that if he actually pays a fine and writes an apology letter, that this could be expunged. It should be a federal offense, like you mentioned, equivalent to individuals who disrupted government proceedings on January 6th. So I think that we have to continue to push for this, but it just shows you, again, the double standard here, that he was only treated with the misdemeanor. This is a guy, by the way, who was a school principal. So he knows very well what pulling a fire alarm is. And in his school, it would be suspension or expulsion.
Yeah.
All right, Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.